So this is about a model train magazine that decided last year, after like 70 years in publication, it was going to have digital archives, and it's going really well.
The real value of digital archives. Today, we're highlighting a piece by What's New in Publishing about the model train enthusiast magazine, Railway Modeler, and its newly launched digital archives. The article, Railway Modeler, highlights the revenue potential of digital back issues, discusses the trends that have emerged around reader demand for archival news media. The 7-decade-old publication had not made digital back issues available until the summer of 2021 and has seen a dramatic increase in traffic after introducing the feature. The average number of page views of Railway Modeler's digital editions increased by 664%, said What's New in Publishing. Here are a few of our big takeaways. Since launching archives, Railway Modeler has seen a 54% increase in web subscriptions and a 20% increase in in-app subscriptions. The digital subscription service Readly reports that 22% of their UK subscribers regularly access back issues. The most popular archive content tends to be evergreen subjects like recipes, car reviews, and craft patterns, but significant historical events are also a big draw. Archival content is important for both a business perspective and for the interest of preserving history. Because of this, Our Hometown gives publishers the ability to upload their paper's full archives and add them to subscription paywall services to ensure that this content is seen as the valuable element that it is.
You know, one thing I see with this right off is having your archives available is that gives that final nudge to people who are deciding whether or not they really want to invest monetarily in the newspaper. Do they want to subscribe? Okay, maybe they're drawn to the article either through a search engine or, you know, a personal recommendation, but going to see what the paper actually has covered in the past might just encourage them to actually, you know, pull out their wallet.
That's why I just think it's so important, this feature. And I keep talking about related articles. You know, it's a subtle thing, right, but, you know, that really has the potential to...
we can change how the related... how the related articles can,
right.
Maybe there could be a tick box to include archives. So if they kind of go back and just...
Or weigh it differently, like more archives or less. I don't know if people would be interested in that. I mean, I definitely would be, but I just think driving people back to the archives, you're right, Terry, if we can show them a relevant article related to something that's happening now, then it brings them back into the archives. It's suddenly this whole world opens up, you know, this whole history.
Even if the archives are behind a paywall, if you have the thumbnail of cover pages, then you could actually market that as some, you know, an ad. Create a display ad that says, look at what we cover, see what we've...
Well, a lot of papers have a what happened on this day in history or what did we cover in our paper on this way in history. But if those actually linked into the coverage...
Right.
So you can have a weekly article on that, what's happened, but you can actually then link it to the archives. And then if you that's one way of saying if you don't have access to the archives, you could upsell it for that kind of thing.
Well, here's a question I have. Like, why aren't publishers doing that? Referring to old articles in new articles. You look at places like TechCrunch, they're constantly referencing other articles that they've written and keeping you engaged on the site. And that's a manual thing. It'd be nice if we could automate it with the related stories, but even linking within the article itself, I think would be really interesting, right? That's something, it's an editorial decision.
I think a lot of the problem is it's an old school mentality that just comes from that not being easy to do. I don't think a lot of papers realize that this is the way things can function now.
And also, so many of them are not even putting the articles in, so they're not logged into the site. They don't really have that opportunity. I mean, they could easily go do it, but it's not right in front of them, and it's not really part of their workflow. I mean, I almost think that's what we need to be doing. Like, these related stories at the bottom of an article are helpful, but I think we would get more engagement if somehow we could identify, and this would be some pretty sophisticated NLP, but like you'd have to identify this article is about this person, and this is the article that is ranked highest for that keyword, and just link to it right in the article.
If you want another technical challenge, to index the PDFs that are in the archives
Right.
That's what I was wondering.
It's possible to do that. Yeah, I mean, it won't give you any kind of formatting or anything, but it would give you some related links, I guess.
It would give
and
you
I've actually, recently, I've had potential customers wanting that functionality specifically.
Yep.
So
to search PDFs, right?
Right.
Yeah. This Railway, is this a PDF viewer, or because it's all these archives? Most of the time, I bet you it's just a PDF.
Looks like they have a killer app on mobile.
And it could be a really good experience, even though it's just PDFs.
I'm always looking for ways that publishers can take this knowledge back to their own newsroom. Right. And one thing is, you got to have that first step. What if we encourage publishers to just put a blurb, either next to their page number or at the very bottom of the page that says, check out our archives and link the actual archive tab.
Well, I'm just thinking about user experience. I don't see myself ever going to an archive page and just browsing archives. Want to search for a term.
So it sounds to me like you're wanting to do is drive the publishers into embedding archival articles within new articles, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, what if there was a related articles section, but in the article builder itself? Right. As you're writing the article, once the SEO automation gets done, it could comb through that, use it to find related stories, and then the publishers could see that as they're building it and integrate that.
Right. So, in other words, just display the related stories results on the article editor somewhere. Right. And then they can maybe check boxes next to the ones they want to include. It could be a block on Gutenberg, and then they drag it up between paragraphs. I've seen that on a lot of sites I like. They'll kind of have an embedded link between paragraphs. Right. It's segmented. It has even the teaser, so it's clear this is a different article. But yeah, it's like something highly related to what you're reading. There's a lot that needs to be done here. And the first thing that we got to do is just continue to work on the NLP algorithm that we use this program Spacey for. And it's the same kind of relational calculator that Facebook uses for connecting all the people in the world, basically. So we're able to make these calculations really quickly. And when a new article is published, it can be compared against all the articles in the database really efficiently. This is just an ongoing effort at our hometown. It's something that I believe sets us apart. Again, something we're not competing on. We are trying to innovate and do something different. Well, I'll let you guys go then. Thank you so much, and appreciate all your contributions this week, Tyler and Chris. Those were great articles.
Sure thing.
And thanks for everyone's reactions. Thanks for watching Today in News Tech, the podcast covering innovation in digital journalism. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast apps. We'll see you tomorrow.
At our hometown, we help newspapers build WordPress websites, design native apps, and develop digital subscription models. If you are interested in a free prototype of your publication on WordPress, go to ourhometown.com and click the Contact Us button.